Hello, welcome to the Beard Out Podcast. Podcast where we talk about the two greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al Yankovic. My Aunt Lala and my dad are the hosts of the show. Thanks for listening to the Beard Out Podcast, part of the OddPods Media Network. Stay weird and enjoy the show.
Hey, this is Russ.
This is Kyle.
This is Michelle.
From the Infectious Groove Podcast. Join us every Monday for the most fun you can have with a music podcast. The Infectious Groove Podcast uses a positive and fun approach as we take time every week to share our jammy jams, then dig into a thought-provoking topic discussing all decades and genres of music. You can find the Infectious Groove Podcast on all major podcast platforms, or you can head to infectiousgroovepodcast.com to find us there and subscribe. We might have a controversial opinion here or there, but we always have fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll say something dumb.
Subscribe to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the OddPods Media Network.
Well, hey, how are you doing? Have a seat. Have a drink. Boy, I can glad to see ya. What can you say? Where's Lala?
Oh boy, it's the Beard Out Podcast. You heard that. You know the song. You know what this is all about. And this is the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And as you can probably tell from the title of this episode, John's not here. This is a very special episode because he's not very special. So I have a very special person here. Hi, Russ. Oh,
Hello.
hello. And, when I do these very special episodes, we talk about things that aren't on the list that John and I have for Weird Al songs that are on albums. And then it occurred to me that there's a big Weird Al song that's not on our list because it's not on an album proper. And so we're talking about headline news today.
Which is one of the most underrated Weird Al parodies that exists.
For sure. I mean, it is so underrated that we didn't even rate it on our list.
That's how underrated
That's
it
how
is.
underrated it is. But yeah, so I before we jump into talking about anything related to the song at all, because this is the Beard Al Podcast and we talk about beer here, you know what? I'm even getting ahead of myself. I mean, the people should know who you are, Russ. You're the one who drastically underrated Melanie. We're going to see if you can get dig yourself out of that hole. But do you want to tell people where they can find your stuff?
Shared my own personal opinion of Melanie,
Okay.
is what I did. And then many, many people told me that I drastically underrated the song. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yes, your listeners should know me from the Infectious Groove Podcast, which you can just, without going through the whole spiel, you can go to infectiousgroovepodcast.com to find us, or really any podcast client that you use. You can just look for the Infectious Groove Podcast and find us. And you can also go to YouTube and look for Infectious Groove Music and find our channel, because at least one video a week that we do now features Lauren from the Beard Al Podcast on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so that's neat.
That is neat.
That is neat. And as I was trying to say before I so rudely interrupted myself, this is the Beard Al Podcast, so we talk about Weird Al and also beer.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that.
We're Weird Al and beer.
Yeah, we have beer. We cracked the cans here at the beginning of this whole situation. And, I think we each have at least one that we're going to have through the course of this conversation. And I'll kick this off quickly, and I'll see if you can find some sort of tenuous connection to the song with the beer that you have there, because I'm about to find one right now with the beer that I have here. I have, it's a classic, nice little Belgian ale. It's the Delirium Nocturne, and the can says it's the darker side of delirium. And in this song, Weird Al kind of breaks down the darker side of the news.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that. And then I'm going to take this a step further here.
Oh, boy.
So in the original song that's being parodied in this song Headline News, the third verse is about a kid who goes to church and is very scared of what he sees because everyone at church is delirious.
Oh, what do you have?
I have delirium red, which
Very
I have
good.
not drank in a very, very long time. And my heart is full with joy at the choice that I made right before we hit record.
It's good. I actually had that beer on this show not too long ago when we did our episode, I Want to Be Your Lover. And my brother asked me, he goes, why do you have delirium red on this episode? And I go, because I love this beer.
Well, that, and you could make a Prince connection with Little Red Corvette.
I guess I could.
If you want to go back and edit that episode, you can throw that in.
Stay tuned. I'm going to go edit that right now.
Right.
Oh, I didn't do the thing when we did the thing.
What thing were you supposed to do?
I had to pop myself a beer.
We did that.
The level of disappointment right now is at an all-time high.
I'm sorry. I'm the worst. I'm really bad at managing my own show.
How dare you neglect those buttons? I worked really hard.
You did work really hard on those buttons. You know what? Yes! You did.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yes, you did. So, for those who may not know, Headline News is a parody that Weird Al did of
By
the Crash Test Dummies. Yeah. A little backstory on this. Weird Al was actually working on, he wanted to parody this particular song for the Bad Hair Day album. But the record label wanted to put out some sort of a box set. So that's where Permanent Record : Al in the Box comes into play, which I need to do an episode on at some point because the whole backstory on why it's called Permanent Record : Al in the Box is it's insane. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the fact that this was the original track from that box set that was used to promote the box set. Mm-hmm. Once Weird Al, it kind of came to light that, this is going to come out now, he decided, well, I can be a little timely with this. So he went for stuff that was happening in the news.
Right, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing with this parody. I'm glad that it didn't come out when it was originally supposed to, and I'll tell you why. You and I just had a conversation the other day about Weird Al parodies that you wish you could like more, but you mega loathe the original. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which, by the way, as a side note, and I'll take all the hate in the world for this, the one for me is That Way is Pretty Fly for a Rabbi.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, if I never in my life hear Pretty Fly for a White Guy ever again, it'll be too soon. When the Crash Test Dummies premiered with this song, and like it was all over the place. Like, you could not, I know it's a joke that MTV doesn't play videos at all anymore, but back then it was like, there were just certain videos that when they came out were just, twice an hour. Mm-hmm. And you were just like, okay, that's enough. And for whatever reason, I super, super, super hated this song, the original from Crash Test Dummies when it came out. So if they had put it on Bad Hair Day, I would have zero affinity toward the track, at least at the time that it came out. Okay. Mm-hmm. But a couple of years after, not maybe a couple of years, maybe like a year after they were initially huge, I bought Elvis Costello tickets, and the Crash Test Dummies were opening for Elvis Costello.
Well, that's wild.
And I almost didn't even go for the opener because I was like, this is how much I don't like these people. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard anything but the one song that anybody ever heard. So I went, and for whatever reason, we ended up there when they were opening. And they opened with the title song off of their record, God Shuffled His Feet, which is the record that the big hit single's from. And inside of one song, I was like, oh no, there's so much more to this band than I knew of. Like, holy crap, this is really good music, And then they had opener set was probably 45 minutes. They might have even done the whole record. I don't know. But they did, the big hit. And by the time that they got to it, I was like, oh, I totally get why this is so popular now. Like, after I heard all the rest of these songs. So for the timeline for it to come out, like when it eventually came out on Permanent Record, I was like, yes, do that song. Whereas if it were on Bad Hair Day, I would have been like, that's track wasted.
Yeah. I totally get that. I mean, it was one of those, I feel like Weird Al's career is almost littered with happy accidents like that kind of set up the perfect storm for the things that happened, to him. And so, that's really cool. That's really cool. And, I will tell you, like, just by virtue of being on the box set that it's on, For me, this track didn't get a lot of airplay in my Weird Al listening time.
It didn't get as much anywhere, not just you, anybody. And it's funny because if it would have been on Bad Hair Day, to me, it would be my Gump, where I go around telling people all the time, did you know Weird Al did Gump? Yeah, it's on the same album you bought but then you never listen to the rest of it. Even if it was on Bad Hair Day, it would also be forgotten.
Yeah.
But then it was used as the flagship single to sell this box set, and it was still also forgotten.
Yeah, and I mean, Al did a very cool thing. He kind of insisted that the label put this out as a standalone single. Mm-hmm. Look at me finding words. But yeah, put it out as a standalone single so that like the completionists in his fan base didn't have to buy the box set if they didn't want to, just to have this one song.
Am I wrong? I owned it. I bought Permanent Record when it came out, but there's nothing else new on it, right?
Correct.
So like I literally rebought the stuff I already owned.
That is correct,
just to get
sir.
that one song.
Yes.
That sounds like something.
We had Permanent Record also. And that's like out of print.
Oh yeah. Most of those 90s box sets, which were all awesome.
It's out of print because when Al's record label, Scotty Brothers, got bought out by whoever bought them out, they lost the original artwork for it. And they were like, oh, well, we can just like scan it and reproduce it. And Al's like, no,
right,
don't do that.
This is kind of off track, but that's why it took forever for the original, the very first Violent Femmes record to get pressed in any way, shape, or form. Like, if you notice, like Blister in the Sun, Kiss Off, they're like huge songs. They're like their biggest songs, right? Added up, and they're all three on that record. If you notice, there's never a 10-year anniversary or a 20-year anniversary of that record. It's because somebody along the line lost the original master tapes for that record, and all they've ever had is a second-gen copy. And the record label every time is like, hey, you want to make a lot of money? And the Violent Femmes are like, nope, because nobody has the original master tapes for it.
That's wild.
And so it's the same thing with this, where the artist has to stand up and be like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. Plus, I mean, I don't mean to sound like Weird Al went along with it or anything, but like, I don't know why you'd reissue a box set that is, if there's however many tracks there are on it, let's say there's 50 tracks on it, 49 of them are.
Yeah, it's for the completionists though, like the people that would want to have it. Like, I like knowing that, like, well, I don't physically have it on my person. I know that it is safe at my parents' house.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My dad one day, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, he like laid out like the entire Weird Al discography that, we had on CD, like as kids growing up. And he's like, look at all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man, Permanent Record out in the box.
Permanent Record is like at your parents' house behind like a laser and smoke security system.
Yeah, probably.
It would take like the Ocean's 11 guys to get to it.
Yeah, like 5 fingerprints.
But yeah, I think this parody is brilliant. It's one of those songs that if you got somebody who said flat, and people do this all the time, which I truly don't understand. And I'm not saying that just because I'm on a Weird Al podcast or because I think it's what people want to hear. Like, I don't understand people who go, oh, I don't get what Weird Al does. Or even just recently, and we don't have to derail on this too much, but we covered Weird Al on my show.
Yes.
And somebody left a comment on the episode and said that they thought they never liked Weird Al because he thought he was disrespectful. And I replied, and I was like, what do you mean disrespectful? Like, what do you mean disrespectful?
What do you mean? But like I'm curious, confused. Yeah.
And the person was like, well, it's just my opinion. I don't like him. And I was like, okay, but how does that make what he does disrespectful? No reply to that, which is kind of a bummer. But there are people who don't get what Weird Al does. This song is a song that I would play for someone and be like, do you get it now? And if they don't, then I would be like, and you've seen me do this with other artists like Elvis or Michael Jackson or Pink Floyd, where people will be like, I don't know what they did, right? And then I'll be like, okay, try this. And not like, oh, well, then this is above you. But like, if you don't like this, then there really isn't anything here for you,
anything I can
right?
do for you.
And I feel like anybody who's, I don't know, between the ages of 25 and 45 would know the original of this enough, like it's in the air supply enough to where they would totally get what Al is doing here and then decide if you like what Weird Al does or not.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's not necessarily a wrinkle, but it's something with this song that it's called Headline News, and like the fact that you kind of had to know what was going on at the time also to get the joke. And so, like, for somebody now who may not have been up on, like, early 90s tabloid news fodder, might have to do a little bit of research to really get the joke.
I would argue that if anything, of the 3 news stories that are in this, I feel like some of them are still a certain amount of, like, in the water supply or folklore.
Except the first one.
What's the first one?
He had cane marks all over his bottom.
Yeah, that was like a thing that was it was like there was a very fine point on that story. At the time when this song was put out, that story was enormous and everybody talked about it like for the summer. But I feel like people still know who, like they just made the Tanya Harding movie. I say just made, it's probably like 7 years ago now.
No, but, I would say 3.
Well, like there's enough to where people still know that. I promise I'm not going to get too self-righteous here, but there's still jokes made about the Bobbitt situation, which like, and I'm not referring to what happened to him. I don't find anything funny about their situation. No. And again, I'm not at all. It's not what happened to him. It's what led to what happened to him. I don't find anything funny about, and that's not directed at Weird Al. That's just what I'm saying is that story is still in the air supply because people make jokes about it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of what Weird Al did. I feel like almost especially in the 90s was stuff that was very much a product of its time, because would Weird Al do a song called Headline News about news stories like this with the same sort of tone today? No. Like I don't think he'd go for that today, right?
Well, no. But to me, I view that as this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
You know, because, and again, we've been on the air for about 15 minutes now, and I feel like I've got on like 3 soapboxes. So
that's all right. Just stack them up.
Yeah, here comes another one.
You're already tall.
I just don't I feel like it's okay to poke fun at things. Okay. And we as a society seem to have completely lost our sense of humor. And I feel like if Weird Al put this song out today and did 3 whatever, and of course, not something like a mass shooting that's in the media, but if he poked fun at something, this would be the thing that gets Weird Al. Like it would be the thing that gets him canceled.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts, right?
Which is insane. Because if I want to, I can go back and pick apart all 3 of these stories, but we didn't used to do that back then. We didn't used to pick apart everything. We used to be like, okay, some time has passed now, and I think we can all find something to laugh at about this, you know, with nearly anything that used to happen. And I just don't feel like he would be able to even put this song out now, because what's considered newsworthy now, if he tried to poke fun at it, would instantly get canceled.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he'd have to go for like something crazy like Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian.
Nope, can't do that.
Why?
Nope, that'll get you canceled.
Oh.
Because, first of all, you can't go after the Kardashians.
I guess.
At all, ever.
Oh, yeah, the momager will get you.
Yeah, and second of all, and I'm not making light at all, but Pete Davidson's very delicate topic because of his depression and mental health issues, right? So and again, I'm not saying like, oh man, damn it, we can't make fun of mental. I'm not saying that at all.
I get that.
But I'm saying there's nothing now that he could go. I don't feel like there's anything he could do in a frivolous manner. It almost makes me long for when one figure skater would hire an idiot to attack the other figure skater. Right. And then we had things that we could make fun of, you know, but now we just can't now. Like, and I, just to be clear, I hope your listeners would know, if they've listened to me before, I'm not the guy that's like, we're too woke. That's not how I mean it. I just mean we can't have the type of fun that we used to have, like with things being irreverent.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would, there's no way he could do it. That's, if you notice, that's why look at the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 records that he did. Almost none of it was topical.
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're totally right.
Because the guy's ahead of the curve on all of us.
Yeah.
You know, he probably was like, not doing anything topical. No.
I mean, God, like, the people came for Weird Al because of the word spastic and word crimes.
Listen to me. You come for Weird Al, you got a problem with me. That's just fact.
So what you're telling to the people is they come for Weird Al that...
I'm warning you with peace and love.
I'm warning you with neither of those things. Don't come for Weird Al. I mean, come on. You know, anybody who has any issue with word crimes, and here's, you know what? Here's specific to word crimes. That song did so much for education that maybe we won't get mad over one word in it. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're
maybe the trade-off was worth him having the one word.
Yeah.
You know, and we're also talking about a lyrical genius who could have put whatever word he wanted there anyways, you know, and probably at the time that he penned it. Also, I would argue all of the words in the song that he was parodying are far worse.
Oh, yep. Especially in that order.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, this song, even at the time, when I first heard it, because what's so funny for me is because if prior to me going to that Crash Test Dummies show, if you would have been like, oh, Weird Al's doing the Crash Test Dummies song, I would be like, oh, well, it would appear that's the first thing I'm not buying from Weird Al because I don't care, you know. But then when I heard it, even at the time, the stories were so beat to death that the first time that I heard it, I was like, yep, I know. There was the thing with the caning. Yep,
Yeah.
I know.
And that was one of the big criticisms, actually. That was like one of the only critic negative comments about the song was that, you know, by the time headline news came out, that things were already kind of played out. But like that was also kind of the point.
Well, I feel like he addresses that head on in the bridge, which tells you kind of the point of the song. They got paid for their sound bites and sold their TV movie rights. Like that's at the time. That's 90% of why people tried to get into the news at the time was to sell their sound bites and TV movie rights. You know, the Lifetime channel was not built on just one person alone.
No,
it was built on TV movies about things like this. All the things in this song.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the video for headline news.
Which is another perfect example of Weird Al doing Weird Al things.
Yeah, and the fact that it went insanely over budget, and Weird Al was like, you know, I could have made a whole album for this. But again, the video is as perfect gets.
It is. The skits, like, I mean, when you compare it side by side to the original video, and it's to me, it's the video, and I'm sure he's done this on many other videos. I'm not saying this is the one time he did it. But it's the visual equivalent to how brilliant his lyrics are. Like that thing where you hear a Weird Al parody and then like a year later you hear it again and you're like, oh, you know, where like you get the thing where in his videos, I've seen his videos like once and then I've seen the same video like 6 months later and caught something and been like, holy cow, that's so much. And this video is that. Yeah,
oh, for sure. I mean, and there are always layers to Weird Al's work. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen the video for headline news, and I felt like a real dummy when I just watched it recently to prepare to talk to you about this because the comedian / actress that plays Miss Judy in the Weird Al show was Lorena Bobbitt in this video, and I was like, oh my god, that's Miss Judy, you know. And then you kind of look up and like she was in a bunch of Weird Al videos. I'm like, holy crap, you know. I just and Dr. Demento's in the video.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's just really done. It's the type of video where it's like You Don't Love Me Anymore, where if You Don't Love Me Anymore happened to be on like in an electronics store and you're like across the store, you could glance over there and think that was Nuno and Gary. Like think that it's extreme, right? This video, if it was on, you could glance over there and just think they were playing the Crash Test Dummies, like because it's that well done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It Smells Like Nirvana falls in that category too. Like Amish Paradise, nobody's gonna be like, is that Coolio SE? You know, but
no,
like
it's an Amish.
But you know, he has certain videos that you could, even parts of Eat It, where you could glance over there and be like, is that the Beat It video? Oh, no. Turns out that's Weird Al, you know? So the video was brilliant. And I think the video was, at least for me, it was a much bigger hit than I expected it to be, especially because the Crash Test Dummies was so played out. Nirvana was super duper played out by the time It Smells Like Nirvana hit, right? But there's like no playing out Nirvana too, though, at the same time, right? So It Smells Like Nirvana was gonna be huge anyways. And I feel like Crash Test Dummies were so played out by the time that Weird Al's parody came out that I thought the video was gonna get like premiered and then played like 3 more times and that's it. And it was in pretty heavy rotation on MTV.
For sure. And like for Weird Al songs in general, this did not crack the Billboard Hot 100, but it was number 104. So it was number 4 on the bubbling over the surface charts or whatever it is. And I mean, that's big for a guy like Weird Al.
For the oddity that it is.
Uh-huh.
Like everything he'd ever done before this is attached to a full record.
Right.
For this to be, first of all, a box set. Second of all, one that fans wouldn't necessarily need. And for it to be a one-off single, for that to get up to 104 at the time would be a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, I think you and I had a conversation about this the other day where you were kind of looking into the personnel on this track, and you were like, oh, Lisa Popeil does background vocals on it. And like, she's one of his primary female background vocalists. She's like classically trained and stuff and actually gave Weird Al vocal lessons. But I think my favorite bit, my favorite factoid, I guess, about Lisa Popeil and this song is that she is the Nancy Kerrigan scream.
Right. Yeah.
And the screams are so well placed. There's a scream after the caning, and there's the scream after the knee blow. And they're just like so perfectly put into the music. And I feel like this song also, while instrumentally is such a great parody, the Weird Al sound jokes in it are just as brilliant.
No, I agree. Yeah, well, I mean, they fit perfectly right where they are. Another thing that I think is brilliant about this song is, and again, I'm referencing so many other Weird Al songs, but I feel like, I think I said this near the top, that I feel like this song encapsulates a lot of what Weird Al does right.
Yeah, which makes it a perfect lead single for a box set.
So you know how, no spoilers on a, I don't know, 23-year-old movie, 25-year-old movie, but you know how you don't have to watch The Phantom Menace and you can just listen to The Saga Begins?
Yes.
Okay. You really don't have to look up any sort of history on all 3 stories that are in this song. Weird Al tells you pretty much what you need to know about each story.
That's true.
Then there was this girl who saw that one day wanted to be a figure skating champion, and she saw a girl who was better, and hired some guy to club her in the kneecap. The end. That's all you need to know about that story.
That's true.
You know, and each one, the kid took a trip to Singapore and brought a lot of spray paint. You know, and when he came back, he had cane marks all over his bottom. Like, that's all you need to know about that story.
I love that he says bottom.
No, I know.
You know,
I know. I feel like that's, first of all, that's a Weird Al thing. Like, he's not going to say, you know, the A word. You know.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like there's a certain amount of innocence in the original song that he probably wanted to adhere to as well.
That's fair. And actually, this is why I'm really glad that you are the one here to talk about this, because I've heard the Crash Test Dummies song. Like, I know. I know it, but I have not like really given it the deep dive that I'm sure that you have.
I would, if one thing comes out of this episode, I would like everybody to at least go to Spotify, type in Crash Test Dummies, God Shuffled His Feet. It's the record that this is from. Throw on that opening track, the title cut, God Shuffled His Feet. Listen to that and see if there's more to the span than you thought there were. Now, to be clear, the whole record is Brad Roberts going, "Brr," like he's singing like that on every song. First line in the song is on the record is "After 7 days," and I kid you not, he goes, "After 7 days." Like that's just how he sings the whole thing. So I don't want anybody going to it and when Brad Roberts starts singing, being like, "This dude told me this was going to be different." You're like, it's still a Crash Test Dummies doing Crash Test Dummies thing, but I feel like the songs have more of like a Paul Simon vibe on the rest of the record than does. But that song, like I say, until I saw them perform live, I wanted nothing to do with it. And when you go and dig into that, and there's little things that Weird Al, with the stunning accuracy that his band plays everything with, to me, one of the best features in that song is the light piano through the whole song.
Ruben.
Yeah, and there you go.
And this actually was Ruben's first on-screen appearance with the Weird Al band in drag. Which is beautiful. And again, this is one of those things that it took me.
There were many other appearances in drag, but this was his first.
This was his first. But no, that was another one of those things that like got me recently. And we talk about this on this show so much. And actually, not a non-spoiler spoiler for the people. next week's episode, John and I are actually talking about I Want a New Duck, where you finally get to hear me like tell the story about me getting the I want to get.
If people want to get that story ahead of time, your brother told that story on my show.
I've told it on my show like 6 times. I finally get to talk about it.
But it was kind of cute because I was talking about how I forget what it was now, but the subject of it was directly referencing when you hear a Weird Al song and then like a year later you're like, oh, right. And then I was like, for example, and I was going to tell a story and your brother was like, oh, like he was so excited.
To throw me under the bus.
And I knew we both had the same story on tap. So I was like, yes, John, And then he's like, my sister, and I want a new duck. And I was like, yeah, I know.
That's a really good John impression, by the way.
I was like, get it?
Yeah.
So,
hey, listeners. On a scale of 1 to 27, how good was Russ's impression of John? Comment below.
But yeah, I think I think the original is a brilliant song, and I think this is. I'm so hung up on that guy telling me that Weird Al was disrespectful.
I know
because you take a song like this, you could go on the surface. You could look at this and be like, "Oh, he's just making fun of them because they're just like simple." Band, and he's not. The stories that are in the original version of this song are very personal to Brad Roberts, and yes, Weird Al's taking it and going, "Oh, look what we glorify in the news." Yes,
Mr. Happy.
But he's at no point does he. I don't feel that he makes anything feel like it's frivolous or less important. Maybe the Tanya Harding Kerrigan story, like maybe, but that. It's not his fault that story boils down to she saw some other girl who was better.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't feel like when you listen to this, it's Weird Al being like, they're check them out, them idiots, telling stories in a song. Like, I think he was just like, here's 3 great stories that go along with this, maybe not as personal to him as Brad Roberts when he wrote the original, but still. And again, you just showed me the other day where, Weird Al performed this version with the Crash Test Dummies. And you don't get somebody like that performing the whole song unless they also understand that there's no disrespect going on.
And that performance where, again, people, you can find it on YouTube. It's super easy. It's Weird Al doing headline news with the Crash Test Dummies. And one thing about that particular performance that's amazing, the band members of Crash Test Dummies in advance of that went out and got kazoos and didn't tell Weird Al that they were going to get kazoos.
I didn't know that they didn't tell
So
him.
that when they started playing the kazoos at the end of the song, Al had this moment where he had to stay in character, but he was completely shocked by them doing that. And that just goes to show how much they appreciated what it was that being parodied by Weird Al kind of meant for them and that song.
Which is rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wish, and I guess you could say this about, I don't know, almost the entirety of Weird Al's
oeuvre.
Well, I mean, career outside of Amish Paradise and Smells Like Nirvana. This is yet another example of a song that I wish more people knew. Let me put it this way. And again, I promise this is not a cheap plug but Lauren comes on the YouTube channel and we talk about all sorts of different very short form videos. They're like 5 minutes of just, 5 underrated this, 5 we never do overrated, 5 hidden gems, this type of thing. And recently Lauren did a video where she was talking about pastiche, which if you're listening to this podcast, you're very familiar with what pastiche is. And we have a long time, very loyal listener to the podcast and the YouTube channel who was beside himself to find Craigslist. And in a way, I'm like, hooray, we've preached the good word. We've been do you have a moment to talk about Weird Al?
Weird Al evangelism?
Right. But then in a way, I'm like, bro, that's been out for 10 years.
I know.
How are you just now getting that? And it makes me think if I played headline news for this dude, his head would explode. You know what I mean? Or I don't know, anything else off of the last 10 records. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I have played this song, Headline News, for people who a full verse in are like, dude, is this Weird Al? They thought that it was the Crash Test Dummies at first because they hadn't, they're not, nobody has the original lyrics memorized or anything, you know? And then I mean, yeah, this is Weird Al. And then they die laughing for the entirety of the rest of the song. You know? They're like, oh, when did he put this out? Expecting me, I guess, to be like, oh, last summer. I'm like, right? 30 years ago.
1994. Yeah. Yeah. So it's insane. And I love that was a happy result from the
I had to pop myself a beer.
Numero dos.
Numero dos. Talk about it.
This beer has entirely too much wording on it, but it says, don't drink what you can't kill. Hard target. Belgian Gold Strong Ale. This is not going to be nearly as tasty as the Delirium Red that I just finished, but...
You don't know that. Actually, it's going to be a good flavor transition because you had a Belgian ale with cherry and elderberry, and you're going into a Belgian Gold Strong Ale. So it's not going to be anywhere near as harsh of a transition as what I'm about to put myself through here.
I didn't even think about elderberries being in that. That's sad. My father smelt of elderberries.
Your mother was a whore, and your father smelt of
Your mother was a
elderberries.
hamster. Come on now. They wouldn't use a whore. It's
Really?
hamster. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of
Then
elderberries.
why did I think it was whore?
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Sorry.
How dare what would Weird Al think?
WWWAD.
Your mother was a hamster.
Mother was a
and
hamster.
your father smelt of elderberries.
Smelt.
And you're also just destroying my family's memory here. I'm having a hard time with this right now.
I'm really sorry.
And you're like, oh yeah, well your mother was a whore.
I feel like maybe my dad made that joke and said it wrong enough times that that's what it lives like in my brain.
You never hear that about dads. Saying jokes wrong. You never hear that about dads.
No.
But anyways, one other thing that I wanted to mention about this, because we talked about how those stories were everywhere at the time, and I feel like, the 90s news stories, unless I'm forgetting something super ultra mega, can be reduced to Bill Clinton did some things.
Yep.
The Caning kid, Nancy Kerrigan, the Bobbitts, and OJ. I feel like that's pretty much, you could be like, what happened in the 90s? These things. Right? The caning thing, other than the fact that it was on the news every 2 minutes, I was just like, okay, whatever. This kid did some dumb, as you know, I feel strongly. I'm like, okay, you've seen me in public. I'm like, I wish somebody would tell that kid to shut up.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that when people do something dumb, they should receive the punishment for it.
So it would be like today, now, like once there was this girl who caught a flight to Russia with some cannabis oil, and then she,
Yeah. And then had to pay the consequences. I should say, before anybody gets mad at me, I very adjacently know what you're talking about. I heard sort of a thing. So I don't know how serious the thing is I'm commenting on. But yes, in the context that I'm talking about, it's like, this kid went to Singapore and broke the rules. And therefore, here's the consequences from it, right? And then the Bobbitt thing, again, I was like, okay, so as I understand it, this is more about domestic abuse than anything before we worry about. So why is the media keep focusing on that one thing? That's all I thought about when it was current.
Because that's the sensational part of it, obviously.
And this is, I told you the other day, I was going to bring this up on this episode. I happen to be from Detroit, Michigan, which is where the great kneeing took place.
Right.
Cobo Hall, in which I know Cobo Hall as having seen Green Day and The Offspring and Ted Nugent and Megadeth and many awesome concerts at that place. And it's torn down now, actually. Cobo Hall, they just tore it down 2 years ago.
Because of the knee whacking?
Yeah, because of that. No, because no one had used it in 100 years. But so when there's a big story that the media beats to death, and if you live anywhere near it, the media just hangs on to it far longer. There were all 3 Detroit stations were outside Cobo Hall for a year after this story, and on the 1 year anniversary, they all did their morning shows from
there.
Yeah, once again, this Amy Andrews, Fox 2 News, standing outside Cobo Hall where the great knee injury happened. Like, oh, it's you see behind me now. There's a candlelight vigil. There wasn't. I'm just making that part up. But
Nobody needed that.
oh yeah. Well, no.
Oh.
Good one. But it was so like if you lived anywhere outside of Detroit and you think you were sick of that story, be me living in Detroit when. You talk about media. The way downtown Detroit is so poorly designed from a road standpoint that you can't get anywhere without passing the major venues. And so it was like a year you couldn't get past there because the media was like, what if something else happens? And it's like, they're not here anymore.
Nothing else is going to happen.
The Olympics are in a whole other country and they're there. Both of them.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, they are there, both of them. I don't even remember how that ended up turning out. I know that Tanya Harding did not do well.
Tanya Harding had a broken skate, which is legit. Like for all of her, shenanigans, she had a broken skate, and so she didn't do very well. And then Nancy Kerrigan got a silver medal,
right,
and had the world's worst look on her face representing the country. And because she was super duper mad that she only got a silver, I think she just thought they were going to hand her the gold because of everything. I'm throwing out wild theories
Sure.
here. I'm trying to get your show suit.
Why not?
But I mean, that's just my guess. Like if you go on YouTube, I'm sure it's on YouTube, and you watch the footage, she just looks like I thought they were gonna, I thought they were going to give me the gold, And also, I should qualify my statements by saying I know nothing about women's figure skating at all, and I don't know how well she did, or she may have put on a gold medal performance for all I know. I don't know. I
have no idea. I tend to prefer ice dancing anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of ice dancing.
Yeah. It's like the figure skating pairs, but they're not allowed to leave physical contact. It seems much more difficult.
Let me tell you maybe I don't even know that about ice dancing. I was going to say I could tell you the only two things I know about ice dancing are Johnny and Weir, but that's not even ice dancing. That's ice skating, isn't it?
No, he's a figure skater.
Yeah, but is he an ice dancer?
No, Johnny Weir?
Yeah.
No, he's a men's figure skater.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I was wrong. I was going to say the two things I know.
You don't even know that.
I don't even know that.
You don't even know that.
I ain't even got a Johnny or a Weir to put together.
No, we're not going there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But no, Johnny Weir does the commentating on figure skating with one Tara Lipinski.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the few grown adult women in the world that I am taller than.
Really?
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
I think this is so way off the farm, but
Doesn't matter.
We just come across somebody else we looked up the other day that was 1 inch shorter than you two? It was somebody famous I looked up and I was like, whoa, that person's an inch shorter than you.
Maybe
it's Kristen Bell, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm taller than her.
Yeah, by a full inch.
Represent
Kristen Bell.
Yeah, look at me coming at you. I'm a giant.
Yeah. So one person in the world you can look down to.
Oh God, children.
For me, I think that everything about this is brilliant. I know I mentioned this at the top of the show, but it came out at a perfect time for me. Like if this had come out on Bad Hair Day, at the most, when I saw the Crash Test Dummies, I might have been like, oh, I'll go back and listen to the Weird, but it wouldn't have had the same shine to it for me. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get that.
And then it's just, it's one of those things too, where I know you've had this feeling in life, and I would hope people listening to the show have had this feeling in life where you're going through something in life and one of your favorite artists puts out a song where you're like, they wrote that for me right now. I feel like I can be confident in saying that Weird Al waited till I was ready to hear a Crash Test Dummies parody.
That's fair.
He was like, okay, Russ went and saw him open for Costello. We can put this out now.
Yeah.
I think
he's nice like that.
Yeah. Well, I fwant like I'm certainly not just making something out of nothing here.
I don't think you are.
Yeah.
But we need to take a moment because you want to hit that button? I can do this.
I had to pop myself a beer.
Hey-o. Yeah. I'm taking a much more drastic flavor turn than Russ over here.
Taking a flavor turn out of Flavor Town or into Flavor Town?
It's just a completely different Flavor Town. You know how there's two Portlands, there's two Flavor Towns. They're not anywhere near alike. But this I've probably had on the show before because it's a staple in the fridge. It's Terrapin Beer Company out of Athens, Georgia. It's the Depth Perception Imperial IPA. And it's this
Would you say it's living in the fridge?
It is living in the fridge, you know.
Can't stop that mold from growing.
It can't. All right.
That's another crazy underrated Weird Al parody, by the way.
Absolutely. And I did a little Twitter thread on this because, again, in advance of this, I was just kind of like looking up Weird Al stuff. And then I fell into a Wikipedia rabbit hole of Al in the Box.
As one does.
As one does. And the Wikipedia page for Al in the Box has some really amusing synopses of the songs.
That reminds me of a really amusing anecdote.
And these synopses are like freaky accurate, but also extremely hilarious.
Which is good. I mean, I didn't read this, but what you're telling me, what my ears are hearing is that fans wrote this.
It feels like it. And let me see if I can, you know what, I'm just going to.
Which, by the way, I mean in the most complimentary way that I can.
Absolutely. And I feel like you need to hear some of these. So
Wait a minute. I'll go check.
Lauren's looking something up and I'm all alone in the room.
Okay. That was a beautiful parody of John, who Lauren's looking something up and I'm all alone in the room. Let's see. Here, I'm going to try and find like a really good one. A song about a parent's exasperating quest to get their picky child to eat.
Wait, these are synopsis of
Songs
that are-
on Al in the Box.
Well, yeah, so it's just most of his career up to that point.
Well, that one was Eat It
Well,
in
yeah,
particular.
I know that, but I'm saying.
That would be most of it. But let's see. This song is about how much the singer wants a better pet duck.
I mean, stunningly accurate.
The song recounts a list of stupid things a person can do. A song about a man's obsession for potatoes and potato-based dishes.
It's all stunningly accurate. So
It's what I'm saying. It's like they're stupid accurate. The song discusses various types of hernias.
Right.
You know, and I probably spent about 20 minutes. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, like 20 minutes laughing at these synopses of the tracks on Permanent Record.
Well, I will say this about that particular one. If you are not familiar with the different types of hernias that you can get, you can listen to Living with a Hernia, and there's a full list.
There's a full list.
Yep, right there in the breakdown.
You got rictus hernia, lumbar hernia. It's beautiful.
You and I have talked about this before, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things ever is the way that song at the very beginning and the very end, with the fact that he says "count me out" instead of "count me in," which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the "I feel bad" at the end, just brilliant.
I feel bad.
Just brilliant.
That pops into my head anytime I feel bad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how does it not?
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like we had a cold.
Yeah, we did.
A couple of weeks ago. One of us would invariably ask the other, "How you feeling?" And I was like, one time I was like, "I feel bad."
Mm-hmm.
And that is another like layer of the brilliance of Weird Al, by the way, is like I literally felt bad, but there was a thing about feeling bad that I could say that at least made me chuckle for a minute.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this is a beautiful little thing to have.
Well, I mean, not to get too deep about it, but I feel like that can directly connect back to headline news too,
Yeah.
where again, like the Bobbitt situation, there's not really anything funny about what caused that, but Weird Al can frame it up to where you're like, I got the lulls though.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was well over a year at this point. John and I had our cousin Brian on to talk about the song Jurassic Park. And the first time that Brian saw Weird Al in concert was on the Bad Hair Day tour. And that was one of the few tours that Al actually was performing headline news.
Oh, yeah.
And Brian had never heard headline news until he saw Weird Al do it live.
Right.
And he recounted this story. So people, you can go back and check it out. It's our Jurassic Park episode. I believe the subtitle is "Oops, All Carries."
That's great.
And he recounts the story of going to see Weird Al in like 96 or 97 on the Bad Hair Day tour. And when Weird Al said Little Mr. Happy was missing, Brian was like, I bust out. He was like, I started crying. He started crying laughing.
Well, I can't believe I forgot to mention this until you. So it's great that you mentioned that. So I love when Weird Al can make any line from the original song work with his thing. And I've actually talked to people who are like, well, yeah, but he's not being creative enough. Like if he doesn't write all new lyrics. That part where he says Mr. Happy was missing and then he couldn't quite explain it and it always just being there. Like, it just leaves the original line from the original song. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And I think that is part of the art of parody, is not necessarily doing everything original. With parody, part of it is leaning on the original piece of art that exists and framing it differently. Right. And Weird Al does a perfect job of framing that particular line differently.
In a completely different way.
So differently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, it's great. And I love that. And I think one of the big accolades of this song, from critics at the time anyway, was his artful use of euphemisms for the wiener. Right.
Yep. Yeah. Mr. Happy is a great one.
Yes. Little Mr. Happy is a very good one.
And then I think I told you that I never even thought about until I heard you guys mention it on your show about the in One More Minute using the self-service pumps. That's at least a 35-year-old Weird Al joke that I was like, oh, like I thought he was talking about the gas station.
Nope.
And I was wrong.
Yeah.
He was talking, in fact, about Mr. Happy.
Mr. Happy,
yep.
Who was not missing.
No.
Therefore,
could be used solo.
At the self-service pumps. That was a double button, and I'm going to keep that.
Yeah, it was a yes and
word to your mother. Sure. I feel like they both work.
So as far as this goes, and I know you're going to do a whole episode on the box set
at some point.
I think it's such a crime that this is. And I think I've spoken with enough reverence about the track so far that nobody will come down on me for saying this, but it's such a bummer that this is such a throwaway track. It literally is. It feels to me like outside of the video and the effort that was put in there, it just feels like it was like, oh, we'll just throw this on the box set.
Yeah, kind of.
With a side of ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's seriously, one of those things where I literally only heard it when we decided to put the box set on instead of any of the albums, and that was not with any great frequency at all. Again, we did have the box set. It still exists in this world, but
I owned it and I never listened to it. Like when it came out, I bought it. It was in one of the double tall slip cases.
Yep.
Yeah, you have it. And I never even listened to it. I just bought it because I was a Weird Al fan.
Yeah.
And I wanted that song. And I played that song a couple times, but then the video was in such heavy rotation that I didn't really have to play my own CD, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I never even listened to it because obviously by the nature of a box set, all the tracks are mixed up and in different order. And I have, and I'm not going to overstate this, at least the first album through Off the Deep End, they're almost like concept albums to me because absolutely the next song goes after this one. So if you were to put on a mixed up track list of Weird Al's records up to that point, I would be like, this is Sugar Happy comes after Smells Like Nirvana. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Like what is this noise being played after Smells Like Nirvana? You know what I mean? So I didn't really have any reason to play the box set. I just bought it because I was a Weird Al fan and I wanted that one song, That's how they get me, being completionist.
Yep. And that, again, Weird Al did give you a loophole. You could have just bought the CD single. But
I'd have to look into that and see. I don't even know if the CD single was available in America. At the time, it was really hit or miss what CD singles were available in America. And we're not, CD singles were enormous in Europe and Japan. And here they were not at all.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look and see. I don't even know if there was an American issue of the CD single.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know why we had the box set, to be honest with you. I just know we had it. I don't remember buying it. I don't remember who bought it. I don't remember how it came to be. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. I mean, probably Dad, because you're the one who comments on stuff. When did we get the box set? Because we have it. You have it in your house.
I was just going to say, here's where box sets come from, Lauren, if you're ready to have the talk. When people love Weird Al very, very much, sometimes they close their eyes and make a wish. And then a box set appears.
Well, that's how I got Squeeze Box.
That's true. That's devastatingly accurate.
And, you know, I just had this moment. It was like, the song we're talking about right now is the one Weird Al track that's been released on physical media that we don't have in this house.
Oh, but you own Permanent Record. It's just not here.
Right. But
Yeah,
it's
you
not,
own it.
But it's not here.
Yeah, I know, but you own it.
Well, I don't know who owns it.
Possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
So maybe your dad owns it.
My
now.
dad owns it right now.
I feel like he would give it to you.
Bequeath it. Bequeathed.
I feel like he would give it to you if you asked him for it.
He probably would.
So yeah, for this track, for me, I think this is, and I know I say this a lot about a lot of Weird Al songs, but I think it's criminally underrated. I think it's everything Weird Al does right, all in one spot. Again, not only that, but much like how the parodies on every album are like a time capsule of that time, I feel like I could play the song for somebody and then be like, also, Bill Clinton did some good and bad things, and O.J. Simpson had a whole thing happen, and now you've heard all the news stories of the 90s.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I just had a really weird and like random thought. This came out, because We Didn't Start the Fire came out in 1989. So this is kind of like Weird Al tacking an appendix onto that.
Yeah, I could say that. Yeah.
You know, like, oh, here's 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
Here's 3 more. Because, you know, after the Cola Wars, Billy Joel couldn't take it anymore.
I mean, who amongst us could?
Right.
That's really, and I've talked to you about this before. I had a friend die in the Cola Wars. So
I think, have you covered everything you wanted to cover about headline news?
I think so. I mean,
Cool.
and this is, we're like very feedback heavy on our show.
Yeah.
If I left out anything important, by all means, I would love to hear from people on, like what I might have left out. But if anything, I feel like I way overanalyze this. Like I know Weird Al said to you that he loves the podcast. I'm sure he doesn't listen to like every episode every week,
Yeah.
But like if Weird Al heard this episode, I feel like he would be like, okay, got it. Like it would be like, you overtalked this. But if anybody feels like either of us left out anything there is to say about this track, I would love to hear that, because I love hearing everyone's unique perspective on things. And there might be much more to this than I'm even thinking of. And I feel like I thought of a lot.
Or even less.
Oh, I'm certain there's way less than I thought about. Yeah. I told you before that I played this and had friends be like, oh, isn't this not Crash Test? And, and then they were, oh, is this Weird Al? I've like done nearly the explanation I just gave you to them. And they're like, okay, I just wanted to know if it was Weird Al though.
Yeah,
Like,
I get that.
You're like, all right, well, I'll just go over here with my Weird Al thoughts.
Yeah, this is why I like you so much. You can share your Weird Al thoughts with me all the time.
Mm-hmm. Even when it's underrating melody.
Hey, that's okay. We're all allowed
all God's children.
All God's children. All God's children. All Weird Al's people.
Disciples.
Disciples.
Right. There you go.
I think I just coined that, and I'm going to keep that forever. But anyway, I feel like I'm hoping I'm hitting the right button here. I think it is.
And that's when those security guards threw us out.
Yeah, because we're done.
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about this as much as humanly
To
possible.
a fine pulp. Like OJ.
Oh.
Hey-o.
Oh. Hey now.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Look at that. All right. So, you heard at the beginning, Russ is from the Infectious Groove Podcast, which is a fellow member of the OddPods Media Network, and also an all-around awesome fella. And
but also, though, and this, again, is not a cheap plug for the YouTube channel.
Oh.
But if you listen to the show and you like Lauren, which I assume those go hand in hand, either that or you hate listening every week. You're like, just,
Why do I do this to myself?
This woman and her thoughts on Weird Al.
Masochism. Tango.
But if you'd like to hate watch Lauren, come on over to you can go. You can look it up a couple ways on YouTube, either Infectious Groove Music or Infectious Groove Vinyl, because that's what the channel used to be dedicated to, was vinyl. It'll come up either way. And if you want to see my ugly mug, you can. But if you'd like to see Lauren's pretty face, you sure can. And she does talk about Weird Al on the channel, but she talks about a ton of other things, and even fields like we have a video. I don't even know when it'll be coming out with respect to when this episode comes out, but like you took a viewer request for listening to Alice in Chains songs you'd never listened to, and so in both of us just do the whole thing is positivity in music. Like I said earlier, I almost said the word overrated. We will never do a video about overrated or overplayed or anything like that. Everything we do on the channel is all underrated, hidden gems, stuff you should hear, things we love that no one else does, that type of stuff. So if you're listening to this and you're a fan of Lauren, come on over, subscribe to the channel. And if you don't so much like me because of the Melanie incident, then at least one video a week is going to be there for you with Lauren in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's cool. You know what? I'm going to do y'all one better. I will put a link to that in the notes for this episode. How about that?
Hurrah.
So, yeah, you can just be lazy and look to the show notes and click a thing, and then it will be there for you. And, yeah, you get to hear my voice every week, but now you get to look at my face because I have one.
You said that in a very threatening fashion.
I did because, I have a face and I like it.
I'm forced to concur.
Okay, you are forced to concur. And, I would be remiss because there was a point that I wanted to make, because this is actually the inaugural episode for my niece Cecilia's brand new introduction for the show. And she did a very good job. And so people, if you happen to slide past that at the beginning, I would recommend you go back and listen to Cece introduce the Beard Owl podcast and talk about how we're part of the OddPods Media Network, yada, yada, yada. And, due to that fact, I would say she's been on more episodes of this show than my brother John has at this point. And Russ, you're getting dangerously close to that too.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Hopefully no one's sick of it yet.
No, well, you talked very eloquently about Weird Al, so I don't think anybody can be sick of that at this point. But I feel like it's time to actually put a pin in it here. So I'm going to play the music, and we're going to leave. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Ha
Sorry, we got a one. We got a... That's so again.